Hello everybody and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be flying the return segment of our route from Cambridge to Leicester and back. And I've actually just finished the route from Cambridge to Leicester, and as I look back at the footage I just took, I've realised that the map wasn't actually tracking us this way. Made the mistake of minimising little nav map, which was a bit silly, but so what I'll do is I'll kind of I guess debrief the last video, because it was the last flight, because it was quite interesting. If you're wondering why my propeller is spinning, I haven't started the engine yet. It's actually windmilling. It's that windy. So we're parked pretty much straight into the wind. So yeah, the engine didn't actually stop when I parked up. Oh well, it is what it is. So if we look at our route that we actually took here, so the dotted line was our actual track from Cambridge. So everything was looking fine. At this point, we sort of followed the route well. We were sort of following this road initially, and then at Huntingdon, obviously there wasn't anything specific to follow, and my heading must have been slightly wrong, because I actually started drifting. Not a significant drift, we're only talking like a couple of degrees off, but you know, that distance there, you know, could be fairly significant. We're only looking at about 2 miles, but still, that is something to be concerned about. I think the mistake I made was at Corby. I know it was Corby, but I didn't actually consider that we should be overflying it rather than flying to the on the right side. But nevertheless, still managed to find Leicester, of course. I did have an inkling that it might have been, the airfield might have been slightly to the left, which it was, and then we sort of adjusted course to actually find our way over to the active side, where we kind of circled round, descended on the dead side, and then did the normal circuit. So the flight actually went pretty well. Actually, I would count that as a success, no doubt. And today, in this video, we're going to be flying the return leg. So I'm actually going to delete that trail, and let's start again. So I've reversed the route in little nav map, and yeah, so we will start our return leg, and I won't make the mistake of minimizing little nav map this time. I'll sort of zoom in to that level and leave it there. I'm not gonna mess around with it. Let's see if that works. Alright, so I sort of already briefed this journey mostly in the previous video, but just to kind of go over the route, I guess. Obviously we'll start off with Leicester. We'll do an overhead departure as we did at Cambridge, and then we'll fly our route, and then do another overhead join when we get to Cambridge. And weather today is quite nice, pretty much no clouds, and sort of a direct westerly wind, so 270 exactly, at approximately 20 knots. So that does actually have quite a significant impact on our track, or rather the track and heading discrepancy. And over at Cambridge, of course, we'll be using runway 23, I believe. Okay, so fuel, again, we had 20 gallons when we started. We'll do a quick fuel check now, why not? You dip the tanks normally, because you really shouldn't be relying on the fuel gauges, and I can't obviously get out of the plane and dip the tanks myself, so I'm just going to go into the fuel options, and we've got about 8 gallons in each tank. And considering we started at 20, well, obviously we used well, that's 4 gallons, which makes sense considering the taxi, the flight time of pretty much exactly 37 minutes, about 38 minutes. So yeah, that makes sense, and we have plenty of fuel now for the return journey. So if that's 16, then that's what, just under 3 hours remaining, which is fantastic. Yeah, let's jump in the aircraft and get ready to go. Let's set our altimeter again. The QFE was actually slightly off, so it highlights the importance of making sure to get on the radio and actually ask for that in the airfield information. QFE, if you watched the last video, I sort of estimated it to be 1005, but it's actually more like 100 sort of 1008. So yeah, could make a bit of a difference, but hey ho. Anyway, so we know our airfield elevation here at Leicester, which is 463 feet. So if we actually put that in, oops, not go too far. That's 246. Yep, there we go. So our this is showing plus 463 feet. So we know that our QNH must be 1024. Let's write that down. Which is actually the error, more or less, that we had in the QFE for Leicester on the journey, which is interesting. Okay, and Cambridge is of course a 39 feet, so it'll of course be one hectopascal less lower than the QNH. Might as well write that down. 1023 will be our QFE when we get to Cambridge. Of course, like I said, we should always check on the radio, but don't want to use the radios in flight sim because it's just awful, and they'll start telling us to do things that are annoying. Could of course check on the ATIS. Yeah, we might as well have a go to find the frequency, but we'll see how we do. It's not hugely significant. It's just for it's important for separation of aircraft, of course, knowing what altitude we're at, for example. But anyway, so let's stop whittering on and get in the air. So let's get our electrics on, batteries fired up, get our fuel on, beacon on, mixture fully rich. We've just flown this, so in theory we shouldn't need to prime. So let's go ahead and start. There it goes. First try, not bad, not bad. Okay, let's turn our taxi light on now, get ourselves ready. It's runway 28 still, it will be, so we'll need to backtrack. We'll need to backtrack on runway 28. Although, is there actually a way of getting to runway 28? I suppose we could turn right and then left and then get to runway 28. Let's try that. Why not? So we're not using the active runway as a taxiway, because that could, yeah, that could end up with some conflicts, and it's not particularly very considerate to other pilots. All right, so let's yeah. So we won't do any checks because there's no point. So let's taxi. So straight down the same route, approximately where we came. Let's go a little bit to the left, to the right here, just so we're not clipping our wing on that. That would be a really bad day. And speaking of bad days, poor student when I came here, they were doing their power checks on the edge of the taxiway, and they were a bit too close, and I don't think they quite realised that they wouldn't actually be able to move afterwards. So they had to ask them to turn off the engine so they could push it back a little bit, and she had to start again. But oh well, you'll have to learn some way, don't you? Alright, so we need to go all the way to the end and then turn left. In theory. We may have to track across the grass if it isn't. Oh no. There you go. That's not bad, is it? Didn't have the opportunity to taxi along here when I came. But now I have, virtually. How fantastic is that? Alrighty, so I'll try and I might have to just turn off my screen so I'm not tempted to look, although tempted to look at my progress because I want this to be as realistic as possible. And for those of you who haven't seen the first part, I'm trying to navigate without any, obviously without any GPS, without looking at the map, little nav map. Trying to do it all as if it was in real life. Okay, strobe light on, landing light on, runway 28. Flap, don't need any flaps. Tarmac runway. Fuel is good. Lights are on. Mixture's rich. Yeah, let's go. Right, full power. This is a right hand circuit. Okay. 60 knots, let's go. Oh, there's that climb performance. Fantastic. Oh, let's not stall. That's a bad date. Runway 28, so let's make sure we don't drift too far. Already nearly at one. Although this is, that is the QNH. Should have taken it into account, but it's okay. So 1,460 is our target. So that's let's turn onto our crosswind. Keep climbing, and we'll just keep climbing all the way up to our cruising altitude of 3,000 feet. Try and maintain a sort of vague traffic pattern. I remember this. I remember landing on 10, and I did the traffic pattern very tight pattern I did for some reason. If you hear those clicking, that's me adjusting my trim. Okay, let's turn onto our downwind. And 10 is our reciprocal heading. Not accounting for wind, of course. Okay, I'm actually in midfield. I'm going to turn vaguely over the airfield, and then when we get there, I'm gonna note down the time, and then we'll go to our first heading, which is 122. Let's actually fly in the right direction. Going into a headwind right now, so won't get very much ground speed. Okay, so there's 3,000 feet. Let's actually level off here. Landing light can come off. Taxi light can come off. Okay, the time is 10:46. Let's bring our throttle back and let's turn to our heading, which is 122. There it is. Let's get ourselves trimmed, and then I'll do the usual do all the usual logging. 10:46. There we go. So if we look behind us, probably won't see anything, but that is Leicester behind us, and we can start navigating. So I think our first sort of feature will be Corby, which I believe is that town ahead. And I made the mistake of not overflying, but rather flying around it. It was not very navigationally sound of me, I guess. And I ended up actually overflying this this lake, but we didn't want to go over the lake. We wanted to go to the we wanted to be flying to the left of it, so on the way back we want to be on the right, which looks like we are going to be. Okay, it's late, that's Corby, and we want to be going sort of, yeah, directly over Corby, which it looks like we are. Fantastic. Okay, let's try and lean out that mixture a little bit. I haven't done this before, so I'm probably doing it wrong. If you want to tell me how to do it correctly, you go right ahead. Let's adjust that trim a little bit again. There we are, we're descending. Okay, so now that we're sort of established again in a bit of a cruise, we can start thinking about doing our en route checklist, our freighter checklist. So fuel is good, we had plenty, we had nearly 3 hours. Our radios, not really using. Let's just adjust the power slightly. Sorry, radios, again we're not really using them today, but we probably would be considering putting wittering in the standby. Actually thinking about it, I might have actually clipped the mats in the last flight, which isn't the end of the world. I'm not going to be prosecuted for it, but yeah, very poor practice. Oh dear. Freighter E engine, T's and P's still in the green, RPM's looking good. D direction indicator, it's normally perfect in flight sim, but in real life that can change a lot, so you want to be calibrating the compass to your direction indicator, because your direction indicator is just a gyro which detects the movement between which detects sideways movement of the plane, regardless of the attitude, of course. So or the bank. So although it is useful for gaining some kind of I guess situational awareness as you're turning, because the compass, it does all strange things just because of the way that it's been calibrated for magnetic dip. But yeah, your direction indicator could definitely go out of sync with the compass, and in some aircraft, particularly one that I've flown, one that belongs to my flying school, it can be really far off. So if you're flying 10 degrees, too far to the right, that could end up pushing you quite far off course. especially if you're flying a low airspeed plane where you'll be more affected by wind. You know, that's quite a significant impact. Okay, climbing again. Let's adjust that trim again. Okay, so that's Corby ahead, and we want to be overflying it. Yeah, this is starting to become just as difficult as it is IRL. Massive changes in speed and altitude. Oops, let's not descend. Let's try and keep our heading as well, although let's have a look. So that's Corby. We want to be sort of on the sort of north-ish side of it. So yeah, I think we have slightly gone off our course, ever so slightly. Let's just adjust it. Yeah, I haven't been maintaining a good heading. That's my fault, and we have descended quite a lot. Oh, my apologies. It's hilarious, really hilarious. I think that was definitely my fault though. Okay, there we go. So let's try and stay on course now. So 122, which is this way. I can feel the trim pushing me, bringing me up. Oh dear, oh well. Okay, so after Corby there are actually a couple of airfields which we could potentially use to help orientate us. Does involve finding them. Airfields, particularly in the UK, the countryside, can be very difficult to spot. I think actually this is the industrial complex, so we might actually be slightly too far to the left. No matter. That looks like an airstrip. That could be either Deanthorpe or Bakersfield. There should be two quite close together. I don't see another one. This is another one just above it. No. There we go, climbing again. It's likely that the airfield that's actually mapped into Flight Sim is sort of more of a field rather than any distinct runways. Oh well. Yeah, let's try and maintain that heading. Although, so we're past Corby, we actually want to be looking for, I think the next thing is a river. And I think you can see ahead of us is, yeah, you've got some lakes, another lake here, there could be another lake to our, yeah, I think that's probably a river. And then, yeah, I remember Thrapston being one of our key kind of navigation fixes, and that's probably Thrapston there. and we can tell from, well, A, the river, B, I guess there's two roads. There's one coming out from the other side of the river here, straight towards us. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. Yeah, that should be. And there should be another road coming out on the other side, which is actually a major road. And that road actually goes all the way into Huntingdon, which is our next, which is, I think, the next major sort of nav fix. So if we follow this road up, yeah, I think we're probably heading a little bit too far to the right. So that's just slightly there. Yeah, we want to be 122, but that is based on wind from the spot checks. It might not be correct. Okay, so let's sort of keep that road on our right, sorry. And then what we want to do is, looking at the map, we want to sort of get gradually closer to it until we're pretty much on top of it, and at that point we'll be at Huntingdon. But just before, there is Grafham Water, which that is probably Grafham Water there. There you go, so now we have an idea of where we are. Looks like the trim is working for us. It's good news. I think maybe small changes in power might actually be a good idea to try and maintain an altitude, because obviously you can't make small changes in with the trim. Not in this game. It's just too big a change. Okay, let's try and I've just realised I've been on mute probably for the last 5 or 10 minutes. That's not good. Sorry about that. I'll just say what I said just now. Yeah, so just looking off my my left-hand shoulder, you got Whiten over there. This is probably St Ives here, and then yeah, there was another small town on either side of the river. So I'm pretty confident where we are now. And this river here, and this road here is a major road, the A14, which connects Huntingdon to Cambridge, and then we just follow that all the way into Cambridge. And then the airfield, which I think I could already see it there, is sort of right on the other side of Cambridge. Fantastic. Looking good. Looking good. And again, I don't know when the mic, I forgot to unmute the mic, but expecting to arrive at 12 minutes past 11, but it's now sort of 9 minutes past, so yeah, we're not too far behind, but yeah, I think definitely the wind's influence was definitely either well, overestimated, I guess, for the way in. Yeah, which makes me think about the spot checks that I used. They might be slightly off. But well, that's just how it is, really. Let's not drift. Although we know where Cambridge is now, Cambridge Airport, so not too worried. Alrighty. Okay, so let's have a look at Cambridge. So we're using runway 23, which will be, of course, from left to right. Start along here and then finish over there. So currently, and it will be probably a left-hand circuit to avoid this city. So we're currently on the dead side, which is a little annoying. So what we'll probably do is we'll actually just currently steer this current heading without descending, please. Just that power again. So we'll cross over the reciprocal numbers at 1,000 feet above circuit height. So I think, like I said, our QFE for Cambridge will be 1023. Let's actually set that there. I think that's it. Really. That's the only change. Not a huge change there, but so you want to cross over want to descend down to 1,000 feet above circuit height. I'm going to assume the circuit height is 1,000, so we want to be at 2,000 feet over the inactive numbers, over the reciprocal numbers, and then we'll kind of circle around the active side at 2,000 feet. We'll then come over onto the dead side, descend to 1,000 feet circuit height, and then join the circuit basically on the active side, and then land. Fantastic. Of course, at Cambridge Airport will have a tower control, and they will probably just tell you what altitude to fly at and what entry to use. So it wouldn't be an overhead. An overhead typically for uncontrolled airfields. But planes aren't necessarily sequenced, so it's best that they use the overhead join, because it's kind of the best kind of rudimentary sequencing technique that they can use, really. Sort of explain that in one of my other videos. Essentially, the bottom line is it's just so all the planes come in from the same point in the procedure. So in theory, all the planes should arrive at the end at different times, provided that they obviously start at the start of the procedure at different times, of course. It's always a bit of a difficult one, really. You just have to keep an eye out for the traffic, listen on the radio. Okay, let's prepare for landing. Yeah, let's bring ourselves down to 2,000 feet. Copy, hot. Close throttle off a little bit. No need to identify Cambridge. I think 99% certain this is Cambridge. Yeah, we also gave a number of features as well. Alright, there's 2,000. Back up to cruise power, copy cold. I'm gonna go mixture rich now. So, might as well do a pre-landing check. Pre-landing checklist now. Just so we get out over and done with. Make sure it's rich. Brakes are off, undercarriage is down, mixture is rich, pitch is fixed, fuel got plenty, flaps as required, currently up, instruments are set, QFE is set, T's and P's are in the green, excellent. Copy, we just did it, and hatch and harness are secure. Alright, let's circle on the active side. Staying at 2,000. Oops. I just said staying at 2,000. And out a bit farther. There's no real need to do that. Although, yeah, at the same time, you don't want to be doing turns that are too steep when you're doing overhead joins, just because well, you don't want to make any sudden movements, so in case any other aircraft are trying to track you in the air, trying to follow you or anything, you suddenly do a sharp left hand turn, for example, they'll be like, oh god, what's going on here? Okie dokie, so we're just about to pass over the active numbers onto the dead side, and then we'll descend. On the dead side, descend on the dead side, join the active side at 1,000 feet, join the circuit and land as normal. Then we'll go to the GA ramp, which is just off that round bit there. Cool. Copy hot. Rolling back. And let's start a gentle left hand turn. It's kind of a good idea to practice ground reference, I guess, while you're doing this. Trying to keep kind of the airfield tower, you can see it there in the middle, trying to keep that fixed under my wing as I reach the halfway point, or rather perpendicular. I should be at 500 feet to go. Yeah, a bit late, yeah, a bit late on the ground profile. Slowing down a bit. Yeah, definitely didn't maintain good distance there. The wind's definitely pushing me. Okie dokie. Whoa, that's an incredible crab there. That's crazy. Okay, that's 1,000 feet. Level off here. Cruise power. Copy. Cold. Crab over the reciprocal. This feels like a low 1,000 feet. Funnily enough. Let's see how accurate our QFE was. Okay, let's turn downwind here. Let's not climb. Yeah, this definitely feels like a low 1,000 feet. But it is what it is, right? So the wind's coming from the west, so let's just adjust our heading slightly to account. Might just feel low because we're travelling quite fast, you know. Okie dokie. I'm gonna turn base now. Let's get this puppy on the ground. Just gonna, overshoot that a little bit. Okay. Copy hot. Let's bring that throttle back and get it slowed down a bit. Oops. Degrees of flaps in the Y arc. Let the aeroplane let the nose drop a little bit. 1,000 feet. Theory. Could have got the ATIS, but oh well. Okay, let's turn. It's a final. Got our wind helping us out here, so I'm not too worried about being too high. Ooh, that is a very strong wind. Yeah, definitely. Doesn't feel like we're moving very far now. 30 degrees of flaps, and then start. We're a bit high, but well within limits, especially for this wind. Yep, that is a bit of a crab, we'll need to account for that. Try to keep it at 60 knots. Yeah, nice long runway. Can always bleed it off. Nice. That was very easy to come down there. See the pappies all going red. Alright. Power right up. Race down the runway. Into ground effect. Hold it there. Hold it there. A bit of right rudder. Whoops. Yeah, that was pretty powerful crosswind, you know. Oof, right. Copy cold. Flaps up. And let's come off at this next taxiway. Oh, I didn't turn on any of our lights, so well. go. And we're off the runway. And then the GA ramp is, if we just follow this line, which sort of leads vaguely into the grass. This is actually a taxiway, apparently. Oh look, and there we go, we have some marshals over there to help us out. And if I zoom in, what direction are they looking in? They're the other way, okay. Actually kind of where I started, I believe. Okay, so actually the altitude showing 100. So yeah, we were actually 100 feet too high. Interesting, very interesting. Pressure's clearly changing. Right, there we go. Come on, let's keep going. Oh, stop there. Parking brake set. No need to do any checks, let's just turn off the engine. Right, takes light off, beacon light off. Engine stop. Magneto's off, key out. Turn the fuel off. And that is it. There we go. Very nice. So that was a long old flight. That was Cambridge to Leicester and back. Split it into 2 videos, but I think that went quite well. Let's actually kind of do a little debrief. So let's see if I can change this. Hopefully that worked and you saw all of that. Let's see how we did. So not bad actually. Start off at Leicester. Took off on 28, brought it round 3,000 feet over the field. Probably could have turned a little early there, but oh well, doesn't matter. Yep, followed the path quite well there. Again, reach Corby, and you get a bit of bias there. I think maybe I was looking up here, maybe at this industrial estate. It's definitely catches the eye, but I think I might have corrected slightly here, and then yeah, not too bad. Again, another bias at Huntingdon. You see Huntingdon and you just beeline towards it. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah, but again, I think I saw it because I was sort of getting quite close to Whiten. I think at this stage here, my microphone is where it's on now. Yes, it is on now. I might mute my microphone to have a drink, and then yeah, I forgot to turn it back on again. But after Huntingdon, I sort of corrected a bit, and at this stage, I was following the road, and I knew where Cambridge was, and yeah, that looks pretty nice. So we sort of circled on the active side, ascended dead side, didn't use very much space, and then joined the circuit, nice and yeah, nice and symmetrical, very nice. It didn't need very much runway to stop because there was that quite strong headwind. It was a little off to the right, so that was a bit of an interesting landing. That wouldn't have been very comfortable in real life, but oh well, I'm sure there's been worse. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I think next video I might try doing an IFR flight. I've been flying a little bit in the King Air 350, doing some proper IFR. Kind of using Navigraph, and yeah, so I could try doing some of that, and maybe try a bit of VATSIM afterwards. That would be interesting. So yeah, I think that will probably be the next video. So again, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.